set a timer for 327 seconds. Sutherland, the Police Boys Club, the skate park. Got a little story here to tell you about this skate park. So, first of all, observe it, have a look at it, gather yourselves accordingly. Now, a donut bowl like this, it's obviously of an era in the 90s. The thing with this thing is, this is my hometown, and I grew up in this. This is the Sutherland Shire. Excuse me, this is Sutherland, the suburb of Sutherland, but the whole area is known as the Sutherland Shire, or colloquially, the Shire. Well before the Lord of the Rings movies, this was always been the Shire. I grew up in Oyster Bay. This skate park. So the sad story here is, this was, for a long while, this was the only skate park. Can I get up higher so you guys get a view? This was the only skate park the Shire had. And we, as in the skateboarders of the day, we fought so hard to get this. And when they finally, and when I say they, I mean the Sutherland Shire Council, when they finally provided a skate park for us, this is after they tore down all of our homemade ramps, in particular the Karela hip ramp. That was brilliant. They tore that down in front of us. This is what they gave us. This was the park that they gave us. It would have been 1994. There's also a swimming center and a basketball. We did the basketball stadium a few weeks ago, other side of it. But there's a lot of buses coming in, a lot of school kids. So yeah, I guess it would have been 1994, maybe 1993. I finished school in 93. It would have been the first year out of high school, 1994. This was what they gave us. Thing is, they didn't consult with any of the skateboarders. We had like Adam Luxford, right? Adam Luxford, go and search up that name. Jake Brown, go and search up that name. We had skateboarders. We had big name skateboarders. And this is the thing that they designed for us. Not those guys, the council, not in consultation with any skateboarders. They built this thing. It's an absolute joke. I mean, at this stage, in 2024, it's rough as guts, but ignoring the roughness of the concrete, just look at the design and the layout. It's not functional. Look at this transition here. Look at this. You come off the island and you bottom out. You bottom out on this tranny. It's too steep. This is too flat and banked. And by the way, what are you going to do with this big corner? There's no way to hit it. You can't fly off. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? You're going to drop in off this. You're going to pump up this ridiculously steep island. You're going to acid drop off here, and then you're going to hit a bank carve here with this stupid flat transition. It's so depressing, and it was so upsetting that this is what they put in. And I remember there was like reports from, the Police Boys Club and the council, and they were like, well, we've given you the facility, now use it. And all the skateboarders just went, hot pooey, and spat on it. They're like, this is an absolute joke. This thing here, now, I'm remembering this wrong. This used to be wooden. These little trannies were wood, because when it was being built, it doesn't make sense though. When it was being built, these transitions were up against, kind of like up there, and they were standing upright. And we were looking in thinking, looks like they're building a pretty decent sized mini ramp here. We got excited because we saw those transitions, but then they put them in place here, just like this. And I think they must have laid concrete over it, because I can't imagine. These were definitely made out of plywood at the early stage. Look at this. Is this supposed to be a hip? The angle is like so minimal. Yeah, so that's the story. And like of the era, of that time, we, the skateboarders, were so upset and so frustrated that we wanted to come in and tear this thing down to force them to rebuild. We got this space. The Police Boys Club was fortunate enough to give this space to the skateboarders, but they filled it with just rubbish. And I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think anybody uses this to this day. In our day, we certainly didn't touch it. And then, of course, things moved on, and like you've got loads of skate parks in the area now. Big one in Miranda. Funnily enough, that park, what's it called? Earnshaw, whatever that park is called, that was also where this park was meant to go. in the early days, they were pitching that area for the skate park, and it took 20 years later, in 2023 or 2022, for them to finally do the Miranda skate park. There's also, oh man, I should go up there and show you. There's the Engadine Park. I don't want to talk too much about that because it wasn't my story to tell, but if you want to hear a funny, I should plank there. And actually I can't because it's gone. They've torn that thing down, but they built another park. And yeah, there's a story behind that with Adam Luxford and the design going wrong, but I'll save that for another day. But if you're ever in Sydney and you want to come down and have a look at an absolute schmozzle of a skate park, let me remind you, even when this was freshly laid, it was rubbish. Now it's all rough as guts and it's rubbish. And I guess I'm pretty happy to have been here to shoot this plank vlog because I don't think this will last too much longer. I reckon they'll jackhammer this out and put a table and chair here, and more people will use the table and chair than skateboarders will use this park. Now, if you've enjoyed seeing me plank every day for a second longer than the day before this year, sometimes in scenery, sometimes at skate parks, this is the first skate park we've done. I think this is the first skate park I've touched. Got a month to the end of the year. I probably should hit up all the skate parks and tell stories. Well, if you've enjoyed seeing me search for animal chin and plank for a second longer than the day before, like, share and subscribe, and come back tomorrow. I got one last thing for this. Hot pooey!